Hello, my friends, and welcome to MSP Unplugged. I'm your host, Rick Smith. This is the place to learn tips, tricks, and strategies to help you run and grow your IT service business. Whether you're a one-person shop or leading a team for the journey, this is the place for you. Let me introduce you to my co-host from Dallas, Texas, Mr. Corey Kirkendoll from 5K Technologies. Corey, how are you?
What's going on, Rick? I mean, I'm doing well, enjoying the show, enjoying that high altitude of Denver. Big difference from Dallas, but, I'm digging the cool weather and not as hot.
Sounds good. Now, just a little bit of a twist here. He doesn't get to speak because he is not a co-host. He is a guest. So in case you've been living under a rock lately, but I'm sure everybody's familiar with these two guys. Friend of the show, friend of the community, and super round all good guy, Mr. Juan Fernandez. How are you, sir?
I'm good, you guys. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. And our other guest today is Mr. Paco Lebron. How are you, sir?
Well, better than good and better than most, as I like to say.
Good. Now, I started to say before, in case you've been living on a rock, you've heard some news that's probably, shaking the world a little bit, got you asking a few questions. So, there was an announcement that Mr. Fernandez has started a new venture, a new company, to do what he's always been doing, to help MSPs grow, make money, and be successful. This company is called MSPOGs. Hope I got that right.
Yeah, you're good.
Now, the other part of that news is the CEO of MSPOGs is Mr. Paco Lebron. So ignore this part of his shirt because we're now talking to the CEO of MSPOGs. But gentlemen, seriously, thank you and welcome to the show.
Honored to be here.
I heard great things.
Yeah, we used to have this other guy used to do stuff. He was good, but he's out of here. No, not to confuse anybody. Paco's still where he's supposed to be. But let's get on to business here. Guys, welcome again. Tell us about MSPOGs.
Wow. I think a lot of people are asking, what is it, right? And it's really an initiative, right, to actually try to make a difference. When you think, one of the things that I noticed in the channel is that I see a lot of folks that come in here and we spend a lot of time building businesses together and then they disappear. And, when I think about the definition of community, the reason I'm still here giving back and trying to do the thing is we got to stick around. We got to help the other people behind us. And the reason why I feel like a lot of them disappear is because they've either sold their business and, maybe they didn't get the exit they want. And they don't know, they just don't feel like they should be here anymore. I wanted to try to change that methodology and figure out a way that maybe we could potentially do something different. And so that's why we decided to build this organization by MSPs for MSPs to hopefully stabilize the community, but then also really change the model in terms of how MSPs acquire and how they're acquired and the ways that they see the success in terms of exiting. So really excited to be a part of it. And again, Paco is one of the first few to jump on with us. And so we're honored to have him from Prodigy Techs and his team. And then also Chris Cole from Cool Technologies has jumped in and his team. So we're enthralled, man. And it's the first steps to the future.
Paco, tell us how you feel about this and your new role and what you're looking forward to.
I think cat's out the bag, right? I think it's an opportunity for us to really have the ability to synergize a lot of common goals, right? And I think in my new role as CEO, really that focus is how can we push forward as we have done so many years with MSP Unplugged, how can we do that on this side, on the MSP side, right? And so being able to provide that type of leadership and understanding that, as Juan mentioned, there's a moment in our time right now where not only is technology advancing, but also the amount of people that are coordinating with each other. I think now more than ever, everyone is really using that term community. But I often wonder if they are not truly understanding where that word really came from and how do we ensure that that still maintains its meaning in such a vast opportunity in this industry that it can provide. And so moving forward into this role, again, it's going to allow us to just cut through that noise and push forward, as I mentioned.
That's it.
Hey, I gotta ask a question, man. MSPOG, right? No, and I know you long enough that you don't just have a name. There's something behind the name, right? You know, I'm from the hood, right? So I can imagine what that looks like, right? So give me some breakdown, man. Break it down.
It's the MSP owners group for everybody.
Yes.
It's for MSPs by MSPs. You know, when MSPs come into our organization, we're purchasing a percentage of equity, but they're allowed to stay in as owners with equity in their businesses.
Sure.
And we're growing that. So I wanted the word and the company name to be synergetic with the exact moniker and the nuances of what we're trying to accomplish. And it just so happened to have a cool OG into it. So I was like, hey, MSP-OG. Like,
right.
There we go. It's owners group.
I feel you. Nah, that's what's up. Yeah, we'll take that. I'll take that. Later on, we'll get to the things.
That's funny because when I first heard the name too, I was like, oh, geez, like original gangsters?
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, you know, we all live in this wonderful world of having fun, and if you're not having fun, is it worth doing?
That's what's up.
And that's the thing. So we were like, we see it. You know, I got another, the MSP Owners Handbook, right? MSP Owners Playbook. Like, no, there's all these MSP-somethings, and now we just got the owners group. So it's no different. It's just, a little different hyphenation.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I got you.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think, I've known you for a while now, and I know your reputation, your history, and I'm proud to call you friend. I've spent enough time around you now that I feel like I can say that, and you won't be. You'll acknowledge that I'm your 100%. Friend. But no, but in all the conversation we have with people, they always have positive things to say about you and what you're doing, and I just think this is obviously another step in that channel, and I know that you're, from talking to you a lot, and I always hear you say this, and you don't necessarily talk about you talk about how you can help others.
Yeah.
And I just want you to expand a little bit on that, because I know you probably won't say it, and maybe Paco will say it more because you're more of a modest guy, but I know that that is part of your mission, is what you're doing.
Yeah, two things, right? Obviously, etched in the helm of the ship as a primary core pillar of our business's definition of success. And that's leaders that empower the next leader or create another leader.
Yeah.
That's not success. Mm-hmm. That is transaction. That's good. See a lot of that. I give you something, you go be good with it. But our definition, you don't get the success flag until that leader creates another leader. And so when we talk about what the MSP Owners Group is really about, it's about trying to create culture as a constant. So I told Paco the same thing. I said, dude, when you come in here, the definition of success, we do this, is when your employees run this company. That's success. We've done our job. If that happens and they're creating new leaders and then they're creating new leaders, that's it. And then we can stick around and talk about how we did that. Right? Yeah. That's the whole part about community. And to be honest with you, this is more about, this next few years for this industry is going to be rough. It's going to be real rough. I can look at it, you listen to the analysts, you can hear the keynote addresses, like this world's about to change.
Yep.
And I really want to have a bunch of great people around where we can actually go through the tough times and get through it together as a community and share the information, and here's how we're doing it, here's what we're doing. I don't see enough of that. I see a lot of people hiding shit like what I saw when I first got here. Mm-hmm. And that's why I started sharing everything I was doing when I was building mine. And I just see it again, and I'm like, no, we're going to go build transparently. We're going to talk about how to lead authentically and just do things different. And that's why if I was going to hide it, I would have come in as CEO of the company, and I would have told you we're going to do great things. Instead, Paco's in. We're going to grow Paco. You're going to watch this happen. You're going to see it. He's nervous, but he's in.
Now I love it. I love the disruption, man. That's the key piece that's really cool is taking off the mask, standing up. Right, there's an old saying back in the day, man, if you're standing up front and you call yourself a leader and you look behind, nobody's there, you're not leading anything, right? So I love it that you're going to bring in others and kind of that succession planning for all MSPs that want to get on board and go forward. That's big stuff. like it.
You know, it was a interesting moment as the employees were asking questions, and I said, you know, one of the interesting things, like, what am I going to be doing in the future? And I said, not to scare you, but you're going to be running this company. And they were like, what? I don't even know what, like, hold on a second. Like, I just started here, man. Like, what are you talking? And I'm like, that's okay. Because your disadvantage that you believe is your advantage.
Yeah.
Because you can move faster. We can train you quicker on the right way of doing things. You don't come with a lot of this, I used to do it this way. Like, you're going to move like we're going to move like ninjas because we're agile and quick. And so that's just the beauty of being able to lead differently and, again, trying to do something different, you know. And I think that's one of the reasons why Paco decided to be a part of it, was that he heard and saw it. He's that way. Like, his team loves him, and he's given them a lot of opportunities, and just looking forward to seeing them be successful in our model.
And there's that leader bringing it to another leader, creating another leader. Now,
we're doing it right now, bro. You're watching it happen. Like,
I see.
We're going to do all the things to get him up, and then he's going to do it again. And that's when we will come back and say, we're doing it and it works.
Yeah, from the years I've known you and all the conversations we've had, the clashes, but they've been all, you know, not constructive, but constructive clashes and conversations and funny pokes at me. And for all those things, he's always been, but, you know, he's always kept one thing, and I'll always say this: if I ever have to use anything to defend Paco to anyone, which I don't have to, but when I have had that conversation, he is really dedicated to the community, right? His passion is for the community and is for helping other MSPs. And this the mission of MSP Unplugged. It's why I'm here, and it's always been his passion. So, my friend, congratulations, first and foremost.
Thank you.
But, you know, how you feel?
I mean, you know, it just feels like it's another day at the office, you know, and what I mean by that is kind of keying off of what Juan said is he mentioned obviously on how building leaders for the next future, right? And we're in this industry that's changing. But as you know, and the reason why we're doing what we do here at MSP Unplugged, right, is we're trying to find those that feel unseen, right? And that's across all communities, all throughout different sizes, different creeds, different religions. And there are business owners out there that are putting their heart, their sweat, their tears, and they're right there. And they just can't seem to just make it click. Either they've repeated something and it keeps happening, just got made bad choices, made some gambles that didn't work out, and now are just trying to figure out what's the deal and how should they move forward. And so, you know, that's what I'm most passionate about, because being able to speak from somewhere that people are currently going from, and for everyone who obviously knows me and has talked to us in all of our events where we've traveled throughout the whole U.S., it's really one of those where, you know, being empathetic to that cause is what allows you to say, all right, I'm going to make sure it's the mission so that someone doesn't have to go through what I did. What's even more funnier is that, you know, as you take inventory, it's often harder to take not only inventory of what you've done, but to be present in what's going on with that and seeing that growth, right? Everyone has always heard this my end story, right? You know, being able to try and figure out how to get this to work, you know, starting on my own. And as I was kind of thinking about this before the announcement came on, you know, why am I doing this, right? And it's so that, you know, people like me, whether depending on where they are in the world, doesn't have to worry about paying the next bill, you know, not having to worry about that the gas got cut off and now you're boiling water so you can take your daughter a bath at 4 years old, you know, forgetting to pick her up from daycare, from school, because you were so immersed in this job because you needed to make ends meet and you genuinely forgot as a responsibility, you know, hiding your car from repossession because you made a bad deal because of a living situation you were at. You know, these are experiences that not only are mine, but also many others have similar, if not may even be even worse. And so those are the ones that, you know, from the MSP Unplugged portion of it, we've been trying so hard to reach. But now in this new role, and with Juan's really just the I'm trying to find the word right here, but his opportunity to present me something that I can move forward and synergize both roles is a blessing in disguise, because now I can really focus on, all right, for those that are trying to figure out that 25%, we now will make sure that we can provide whatever that process is, what is the things that we have seen in our experiences, plus whatever's coming in the future, that we kind of are making some good calculated bets of what's going on, are going to be hopefully preparing those so that they have the ability to become business owners of their own businesses. They can also not only be that business owner for their business, but empower anyone that's in their path, whether that's their employees, whether it's their contractors, even down to their families, and trying to get, if they're family businesses, truly understanding the word of success, and that being that you can now see the destination versus just kind of, as you mentioned, in that ship, trying to go down that path, but not having the lighthouse to see where you're going.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that's always challenging me, you see the evolution of the industry, right? Been around for 20 years almost, and they've seen it coming through it, right? So you see a lot of consolidation happening. And there's others out there who have done or tried to do what you guys are putting out there, right? So there's a lot of FUD you guys got to come through. So what makes you guys different from the others out there that are saying similar things, want to do different things? Because why would I want to go up on and be down with that? So what do the listeners want to see to say, hey, here's why we're different. Here's what we're up to and where it comes from. I love focusing on your family, focusing on it, because nobody talks about that, right? Nobody talks about those things. So that's obviously a huge plus. I love it.
Well, I'll talk to it on the beginning, and I'll let Juan kind of dive more into detail of it. But really is, the difference is everyone's working and going into the mentality of what they know right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going off of traditional processes, traditional behaviors. We're not doing that. Yeah. We're looking to the future. We're trying to understand, how do we make sure that we see where we are in 5 years,
right?
And how, with things changing, you cannot do what you're doing now or either rely on previous information, old adages that they are. You can learn from them,
yes,
but that's how you make sure you move forward in the future. And so being able to implement things like different ways of deciding what this is going to be, even down to the name, and that was discussed here, is there is no longer going to be the managed service provider. There's going to be a new term, a new company. Paco is calling it MIPS, Managed Intelligence Provider, but there will be a new type of service provider that will be moving forward, and I don't think that's talked enough about, nor have we seen anybody really prepping for that in the public, transparent, which is what we're trying to do. But I'll let him kind of dive into more.
I love it. You're changing the game, man.
Yeah, it was fun that you say that, because last night, we were having some conversations, and many of the private equity folks wrangled me into a corner and were like asking me a lot of questions about this. They're like, so if I'm getting this right, you technically you've actually created a new M&A model, because no one actually does this. And I said, you're right. And the whole reason why we decided to choose this path is because nobody would do this. It doesn't make sense for private equity or any other type of investor to do this kind of a thing, because that's not what they do. Right? They roll up, they cut out, they trim up, they consolidate, and they look for economies of scale. So that's very different than building a legacy company that doesn't have a endpoint. We're not exiting this thing in 3 years. That's not the intent. So, but then also leaving the MSP with equity in their organization so that they can have successful additional exits and be able to recognize their business at a much higher multiple than they ever could have seen without it. So instead of selling short today, taking a check and then having to go back to work, now you have the opportunity to stick around and have an exit this year, 1 in 3 years, 1 in 4 years, and leave it to the people that you want it to go to without the complexities. And that is not something that is available today. The only way it's available is through us. I'm sure there'll be others that are going to rapidly copy our model, because they were trying to do it, and they have analysts working on trying to figure out the dollars and cents. But you know what? To be honest with you, the heart in which we're doing it won't be able to be replicated.
No.
The money will always be able to be massaged, but the focus on the community and what we're trying to accomplish and trying to make this place a little bit better, I think that's going to be hard to duplicate.
And to feel good about it as well.
Yeah. I love it. And the reason I asked that question is that as MSPs, we fall into that trap of trying to figure out what it's like, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the challenge that I saw or I hear is I'm trying to figure out what it's like. And that's the challenge, right? You guys are not like anything.
Yeah.
And so you knew, right? And that's the piece where I want to say we're sort of, kind of, but not, but is not like this. So that's when I saw the announcement, I was like, man, this is disruptive, man. He just took the whole game, flipped it on his head, man, and just said, here's what's up.
It's kind of funny because one of the first things I talked to Paco, I said, how many questions do you have right now? He's like, a lot. I said, do me a favor. Write them down. I said, because every other MSP that walks in here is going to have the same exact question.
Exactly.
And that's a process that we need to build so that they can walk across it and feel comfortable with this next step, because this is very different.
Yep.
The other one is like, at least, this is a group effort, right? Like, this is a community. Like, I'm not dictating it. And people are like freaking out. Like, why do you keep asking me? Like, you're the guy that runs this place. And I'm like, no, we run this place. We make decisions together. Ad nauseum. I think my team kind of like, why are you calling me in the middle of the night to ask me that? Like, I should be calling you. I'm like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
We make decisions together. And as like this announcement at Beyond, like I personally was like, we should wait because I think that it's a lot of work, and you guys really want to do it now? And they were like, why not? Let's go. This sounds fun. And I'm like, okay, but
Sounds fun.
and we did, right? And we made it. This is the exact thing that can happen when you have folks that come together, and you can make really great things happen. So we're excited about it. And again, to your point, it's very different. And like I said, this will be, I think in the future, this might become a widely adopted model. And to be honest, that's why we're being so transparent about how we're building it, because we want to see this community stabilize.
Yeah, I mean, you taking it's one of those high risk, high reward situations, man. It's definitely something that's not out there, right? To say, hold up, you want me to put this in, this is how we want to get done, you're going to still do this and still do that.
Yeah.
If you think about it long enough, it makes absolutely no sense, right? To say, no, because it's not in it for me. And I think you guys hit it right on the head. It's like, it's about the community, about building the future leaders in there, that if we all eat, we all hunt, at the end of the day, we're going to be taken care of because it's going to be successful, man. And that's what's huge. I like that. And hats off. There's no two better brothers out there in the community that can go out there and do that, because you're well known, you understand, and you practice. Man, I've been around the stage with you, man, and I've seen people throw darts at you and say, "Why are you giving that away?" He said, "Why not?" Right? Paco, every week, hey, let's give this away. Why not? And I reckon that says I'm a domino player, right? I can show you my hand, but I can only play my hand, right? So I can give you it. It's up to you to execute on it. And that's what I love about it, man. So hats off, man, and congrats for sure.
Thanks. There's the old mathematic equation that I've been saying for years that people think maybe I'm crazy for saying it. If the problem equals Juan, Juan is the problem. And I also look at it on the other side. If the exit equals Juan, Juan is the problem. And that for me is where now we're looking at it and saying, okay, the exit doesn't have to exist, so then we can empower the people to keep it going. And that's the new equation. That if I look at it from that perspective, it's like it's a mind shift. And so it's really cool to think that we can actually be part of that and create that change. And you look at that little couple line thing that says, you don't like what you're seeing, be the change. And that's really kind of those few words are what's hung as a little piece of paper on the wall of the opening door of this business that says, just try. And that's what we're going to try to do.
I love it.
I think about what Corey said, and this when you I commend you guys for this. It is very easy to say I'm going to do something, right? It's because it just works.
Sure.
But when you put it into practice and then you go against the grain, go against what's normal, that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
And it really does to make a change. To say I'm going to do something about this, but I'm going to go about it in a way that no one else is doing, that other people say can't be done or shouldn't be done. And you take the step out, and you step out on the ledge and say, I'm going to do it this way, because this is what I know, this is what I feel. And I commend you guys for being brave. I always think about, and I'm going to bring it to you, but you said something when you were talking earlier. I think about the fact that you are very transparent about your life, about your growth. Like a lot of people will say, I struggle. You tell the stories about how you struggled, what happened, your the situation with your car, the situation with Vanessa helping you, all of the things that you talk about. It takes courage, right? It takes, because a lot of us don't want to be that vulnerable. A lot of us don't want to be that transparent. So, and Juan, I've said this about you, and I said it earlier today. You always lead with you as opposed to me, and I mean that from your perspective to talk about others, right? And you always lead with that, and that unselfishness, I think, it enamors a lot of respect from people in the community. It's like now, I'm going to say this as a side note. If you walk anywhere with these guys, all three of them, if you're walking down a hall, we're at Pac State right now, you can get like 3 feet every 5 minutes because somebody is grabbing one of them, two of them, or all three of them to speak to them. And that goes to, again, their character, the fact that people know them or want to get to know them. So, guys, I will just say congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm very proud to know you guys, proud to, know what's going on, to be part of the first interviews of this going on, right? Hey, I didn't get an exclusive, but I got close to it.
I mean, if we get it in time, we might be able to release it before everybody, but we'll see. I may pull some strings.
Yeah, maybe. You know anybody over there can do that?
Yeah, I might know someone who runs the joint. We'll see.
But yeah, before we wrap up here, guys, just to give us a little bit of what's next, if you can. I know you're in the infancy stages of this, but what's next? So what can we expect?
Simply put, go to MSP-OG.com. If you want to find out more, you're more than welcome to see what's going on the site. Fill out the form if you're interested. We got a lot of things coming on. We got a couple more announcements that'll be coming up here in the year end, but just understand that things are going to be different, both on an industry level and how we're going to be doing things. And for those that are listening in and are just curious or, feel like they have no other option, reach out. Maybe a conversation makes sense for us to either provide some insight, some direction, or maybe some possibility that we can put something there that may make something from nothing and probably lead you back into the direction you want to go to.
Yeah, I would say the big thing for me too is just to, we're going to build transparently. So as we're doing this is a open book, just as it was when I was doing it the last time, and so you mean writing the damn book, right? So it's more of us MSPs for MSPs, right? So as we start to think about where we're at right now, if people have questions and they have any comments or thoughts, I embrace all of them, right? I will say there was one comment that was made, and I will thank you for this because I take a lot of the comments that are made and I make note of them because the community is important. And one of the things they said was, let's see where they are 18 to 24 months from now. And I thank you for that because I appreciate the fact that you've given us a opportunity to measure success and be able to come back and deliver on it. So we're going to find out 18 to 24 months from now and answer that person's question. And
right here on this show.
We'll come right on this show
right here
and say, well, we were asked this when we first started on day one, where we were going to be 18 to 24 months. And, we'll see where we are. Maybe we are doing good. Maybe Paco's beating me up and taking me out back. I don't know.
We will find out.
So, but regardless, it'll be done in transparency, and hopefully everyone will learn from our success or our failures.
No, that's what's up, man. I mean, I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward just to sit back. I'm gonna be like Des Bryant. I got my popcorn ready. I'm ready to get it in, right? No, congrats again, brothers. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to see you guys lead the charge. And again, man, I got my popcorn ready. I'm gonna go grab some in a minute from over at the booth. And I'm gonna be sitting here just watching y'all do y'all thing. And as always, man, I know Rick says it just like I am, man. Whatever you need, we're here. And we're looking for 18 months right here, MSP Unplugged. We got you.
I really appreciate you guys. And again, thank you for your support, the support of the community and the channel. I mean, the press release, we could have been quiet, but we decided, why be quiet about something we think we're so passionate about? So we're making as much possible noise, and thank you for allowing us to make, just talk a little bit about what we're doing here, because there's so many questions out there right now. And And thank you guys for being a supporter of the community and just being pinnacles of this place and we call home, man. And hopefully we can make it better together.
Man, it's just like you guys, man. We it's our duty to give back and to reach back and pull somebody along with us, man. And that's what I feel like we do on this show. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do, man. I know it's going to be a big thing. So excited.
Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Anything else, Paco?
I couldn't say it even better than myself. I think we're ready for
Come
that.
on now. You can take off the CEO hat. Come back, Paco. You got something.
I mean, I think the final words is just that. You're not alone. And watch as we cut through the noise so you know that there's a lighthouse as you're steering through that, sailing through that dark night.
That's what's up.
Cool. Well, guys, again, thanks. I know, we have our own personal relationships here, but this is the business part of it. And I thank you guys for sharing, for coming on, spending some time with us. I'm sure I'll see you soon. Yeah, but now that you're a big CEO, I still hope I still know you.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just joking. I think these guys, I know for a fact that I'll stake my life on it. They'll be the same people today. They'll be the same people tomorrow as they are today and as they were yesterday. Just working hard for the community, trying to do what's right and trying to help us all grow, and be successful. Hey, we want to thank you all for listening. We invite you to tune in every week. You can catch us on the video podcast. It's youtube.com/MSP Unplugged. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, hit that notification button if you want to be notified when our next episode is available. You can also catch us on the go. We're on your favorite podcatcher apps. That's Amazon Music, Spotify, just to name a few. And to cut through all of that, as these guys are doing, is cutting through all the noise, just go to MSPUnplugged.com. You can have the catch up for all of those sites I just gave you, and you have to type anything. For Corey, Juan, Paco, or myself, I want to thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on MSP Unplugged.
Yeah, have the just.